Yes, I think my mother was a very holy woman. And so she imparted that love for God and love for the neighbor very much into all her children's hearts.
A person who has been a source of inspiration and created a path of kindness for billions of people around the world. Mother Teresa lived a life of chastity, justice, integrity, and full of love. Many people may have thought that her whole life seemed to belong to God and bring His love to everyone. But it wasn't until she passed away that we learned about the horrors she had to go through during her years of life. A person who seemed to have devoted all her faith to spreading religion and love instead struggled with depression and a crisis in her thoughts and faith. Even though she had to go through a very high level of suffering, no one could realize that the darkness was gradually swallowing her soul. She still carries out her mission of spreading the good news and helping the poor and suffering. All is revealed from her secret letters. So what did she write in that letter? Please watch the video until the end to better understand how darkness and evil thoughts can make a person become a completely different person. At the end of the video, we will reveal the horrifying secrets she has been hiding from everyone. The Faith Battle. In 2007, a book titled Come Be My Light unveiled a hidden dimension of Mother Teresa's inner world, causing ripples of sorrow, confusion, and even delight among her admirers and critics alike. As we turn the pages of this revealing narrative, we encounter Mother Teresa's silent battle, waged in the shadows of her soul during her final days. Despite her radiant exterior, the book laid bare her profound sense of spiritual emptiness, a stark contrast to her unwavering dedication to serving humanity. For over half a century, she grappled with a haunting absence of God's presence, a struggle unbeknownst to most of the world. What emerges from these intimate correspondences is a poignant portrayal of Mother Teresa's inner turmoil, concealed behind her saintly facade. Her letters disclose a profound darkness, punctuated by fleeting moments of divine connection, leaving many to question the nature of her faith and the source of her inner strength. In the midst of her spiritual wilderness, Mother Teresa confided in her closest confidants, offering cryptic allusions to her inner torment. Yet, her public persona remained steadfast, shielding the world from the depths of her despair. It was a testament to her resilience and unwavering commitment to her calling, even in the face of profound doubt and anguish. However, the revelation of her spiritual struggle ignited a firestorm of debate. Detractors seized upon her private revelations as evidence of hypocrisy, casting doubt upon her saintly reputation. Yet, amidst the scrutiny and skepticism, Mother Teresa's enduring legacy endures, a testament to the complexity of human faith and the resilience of the human spirit. In the end, Mother Teresa's journey serves as a poignant reminder of the inherent challenges of the spiritual path. It is a journey marked by darkness and doubt, yet illuminated by moments of grace and profound connection. And it is in this paradox that we find the true essence of faith, a fragile yet resilient flame that burns bright, even in the darkest of nights. As we reflect on Mother Teresa's journey, let us not judge her legacy by the shadows that linger in the recesses of her soul, but rather by the light she brought into the world through her tireless compassion and unwavering devotion to serving the most vulnerable among us. Crisis on Faith. Spirituality of Mother Teresa of Calcutta, a beacon of light in the darkness of our world. Despite her noble accolades, her inner struggles remained veiled until a cache of letters unveiled a hidden truth, her enduring spiritual desolation. In 1997, following her passing, a discovery was made that shook the world's perception of this saintly figure. Letters found in the possession of Jesuit Father Celeste Van XM revealed Mother Teresa's decades-long battle with a profound sense of spiritual emptiness, a revelation that confounded many. Her radiant exterior, so often associated with her tireless service to the poor and marginalized, belied the inner turmoil she endured. Yet, amidst this darkness, there existed a profound paradox, a divine injunction she received to "Come be my light," a call to illuminate the world with the love of God. Mother Teresa's spiritual journey finds resonance in the writings of mystics like St. John of the Cross, whose dark night of the soul mirrors her own experience. In her letters, she bared her soul, expressing the deep and lasting pain of her spiritual desolation, a darkness that enveloped her for nearly 5 decades. But amidst this darkness, there existed moments of profound grace and revelation. In 1942, she made a solemn vow to surrender herself completely to God's will, a commitment that paved the way for her transformative experience during a train journey in 1946. It was there that she received her call within a call, an inspiration that ignited her mission to serve the poorest of the poor. The charism of the missionaries of charity embodied by Mother Teresa is rooted in the profound union with Christ's suffering, a commitment to remain with Mary at the foot of the cross. In the darkness of Good Friday, she chose to stand vigil, a testament to her unwavering faith and solidarity with the crucified Christ. Yet, her mission extended beyond the spiritual darkness of Calvary to the depths of Holy Saturday, where she was called to descend into the living hell of the poorest of the poor. In their moral poverty and suffering, she saw the image of Christ, and she radiated his light amidst their darkness. Mother Teresa's spiritual journey, marked by both darkness and light, mirrors the paschal mystery of Christ's passion, death, and resurrection. She and her followers became living embodiments of Christ's light, illuminating the hearts of the poor with love and compassion. As we reflect on Mother Teresa's spiritual odyssey, let us heed her example of steadfast faith amidst darkness, and may we, like her, become beacons of hope in a world often shrouded in shadows. A soul in misery. The journey of Mother Teresa through the wilderness of the soul is a profound and disconcerting tale, challenging our understanding of faith and spirituality. If a saint like her could feel the absence of God, what hope is there for the rest of us to connect with the divine? It's tempting to attribute her darkness to psychological depression or burnout, given the immense weight of her work among the poorest of the poor. But such explanations overlook the deeper spiritual significance of her anguish. Unlike psychological depression, which turns inward, Mother Teresa's anguish was directed outward, toward the God she so deeply yearned for. She was never idle, always immersed in the work she believed God had called her to do. In the Christian tradition, dark periods are not necessarily signs of lost faith. Instead, they are seen as opportunities for profound spiritual growth. Many saints, including St. John of the Cross, have grappled with similar experiences of darkness in their relationship with God. St. John of the Cross's dark night of the soul provides insight into the profound agony of feeling abandoned by God. It's a purgation of the senses and spirit, preparing the soul for a deeper union with the divine. Despite the intense suffering it entails, it's a necessary step on the spiritual journey. Mother Teresa was intimately familiar with St. John's writings, which resonated with her own experiences of longing for God while feeling unwanted by Him. The duration of a dark night of the soul varies, and most do not endure as long as Mother Teresa's did. Yet, her suffering did not diminish her belief in God. If anything, it intensified her longing for His presence. Even without St. John's writings, she would have found resonance in the experiences of St. Teresa of Lisieux, who also grappled with feelings of abandonment by God. Mother Teresa's suffering reached its peak in 1949, just as she was receiving approval to found the order that would become the Missionaries of Charity. The Vatican's endorsement seemed like a sign of God's love and approval, yet it coincided with the onset of her darkest period. The brief respite she experienced after Pope Pius XIII's Requiem Mass was short-lived as God once again withdrew from her. For over 4 decades, Mother Teresa endured this spiritual tunnel, a relentless journey through the depths of darkness and longing for God's presence. Her private correspondence reveals the intense pain and loneliness she experienced even as she continued her tireless work among the poor. In the face of such profound suffering, it's natural to question how a person of such faith could endure. Yet, Mother Teresa's journey reminds us that faith is not about the absence of doubt or darkness, but rather the courage to continue seeking God even in the midst of uncertainty and despair. Her life stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith to transcend even the darkest of nights. Except with God. As the years passed and the darkness enveloped her, Mother Teresa began to perceive her spiritual journey in a different light. She saw it not as the dark night of the soul described by St. John of the Cross or experienced by St. Teresa of Lisieux, but as an integral part of her calling as a missionary of charity. From a young age, Teresa felt a deep longing to serve the poor. As a missionary nun, she dedicated her Sundays to roaming the slums, offering relief to those in need. When she received her call within a call, she devoted herself entirely to giving love to the poor, sick, lonely, and dying, seeing them as manifestations of Christ Himself. In embracing the poverty of those she served, Teresa came to understand her own inner poverty as a share in the suffering of Christ. She remembered the oath she made in 1942 never to deny God anything asked of her, realizing that loyalty to this oath meant embracing God's withdrawal. For Teresa, saying yes to God meant accepting whatever God gave and giving whatever God chose to take away. It meant accepting the burden of Christ's passion as part of her vocation, a burden she eventually came to love because it united her with Jesus' own darkness and pain on earth. In her final years, plagued by poor health and physical suffering, Teresa's faith remained steadfast. Unable to speak, she communicated her desire for Jesus through writing, yearning for the Eucharist even as she endured the darkness of God's withdrawal. Her words in 1962, anticipating her later understanding of her vocation, are striking. "If I ever become a saint, I will surely be one of darkness." She saw herself as continually absent from heaven to light the way for those in darkness on earth, willing to forego the joy of heaven for the sake of those who, like her, wondered where God had gone. Even in death, Mother Teresa's dedication to serving God's people endured. Her famous Gospel on 5 Fingers, a simple yet profound message, encapsulates her life's mission to love and serve Christ in the distressing disguise of the poor. So, as we reflect on the legacy of this diminutive nun, let us remember her unwavering faith, her selfless dedication, and her profound love for the least among us. And may we too find inspiration in her example to say yes to God even in the midst of darkness. Except with God. As the years passed and the darkness enveloped her, Mother Teresa began to perceive her spiritual journey in a different light. She saw it not as the dark night of the soul described by St. John of the Cross or experienced by St. Teresa of Lisieux, but as an integral part of her calling as a missionary of charity. From a young age, Teresa felt a deep longing to serve the poor. As a missionary nun, she dedicated her Sundays to roaming the slums, offering relief to those in need. When she received her call within a call, she devoted herself entirely to giving love to the poor, sick, lonely, and dying, seeing them as manifestations of Christ Himself. In embracing the poverty of those she served, Teresa came to understand her own inner poverty as a share in the suffering of Christ. She remembered the oath she made in 1942 never to deny God anything asked of her, realizing that loyalty to this oath meant embracing God's withdrawal. For Teresa, saying yes to God meant accepting whatever God gave and giving whatever God chose to take away. It meant accepting the burden of Christ's passion as part of her vocation, a burden she eventually came to love because it united her with Jesus' own darkness and pain on earth. In her final years, plagued by poor health and physical suffering, Teresa's faith remained steadfast. Unable to speak, she communicated her desire for Jesus through writing, yearning for the Eucharist even as she endured the darkness of God's withdrawal. Her words in 1962, anticipating her later understanding of her vocation, are striking. "If I ever become a saint, I will surely be one of darkness." She saw herself as continually absent from heaven to light the way for those in darkness on earth, willing to forego the joy of heaven for the sake of those who, like her, wondered where God had gone. Even in death, Mother Teresa's dedication to serving God's people endured. Her famous Gospel on 5 Fingers, a simple yet profound message, encapsulates her life's mission: to love and serve Christ in the distressing disguise of the poor. So, as we reflect on the legacy of this diminutive nun, let us remember her unwavering faith, her selfless dedication, and her profound love for the least among us. And may we too find inspiration in her example to say yes to God, even in the midst of darkness. In echoing the words of Jesus from Matthew 25:40, "Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me." Mother Teresa not only offered a powerful visual representation of Christ's message, but also extended both an invitation and a challenge. Throughout her public speeches, she frequently referenced this verse, revealing that her entire life was shaped by its profound meaning. However, what if this verse holds deeper layers of significance than commonly perceived? In some modern translations, the phrase, "You did it for me," is used, which implies believers should see themselves as ambassadors of Jesus and perform acts of mercy on His behalf. While this interpretation is valid, the alternative translation, "You did it to me," carries a more profound and arresting implication. In this interpretation, Jesus is so intimately identified with the poor and suffering that any act of kindness or mercy towards them is considered as if it were directly done to Jesus Himself. Mother Teresa deeply grasped this concept, understanding that actions done to the needy are simultaneously acts done to Christ. This realization is both sobering and transformative, challenging us to see the face of Christ in the marginalized and downtrodden. Most scholars agree that this second interpretation is likely the intended sense of the verse. It suggests that in some mysterious way, our actions towards the poor are inseparable from our actions towards Christ Himself. Mother Teresa's life, dedicated to ministering to the poorest of the poor, exemplifies this profound understanding. In God's economy, the poor hold a special value. Scripture attests to this, such as in Proverbs 14:31, where those who oppress the poor insult their Maker, while those who are kind to the needy honor Him. This verse implies that our attitude towards God is revealed by how we treat the poorest among us. Caring for the poor is not merely a charitable act or obligation. It is a declaration of faith in Jesus' kingdom, which transcends the values of this world. It is an acknowledgement that our ultimate allegiance lies with Christ, who identifies himself with the least of society. Thus, acts of mercy become not just deeds of kindness, but profound expressions of our belief in the kingdom of God. In her book, A Call to Mercy, Mother Teresa delves into why she takes the call of Matthew 25:40 so seriously, stating, "I do this because I love God and because I believe His Word." For her, serving Christ through caring for the needy is not just an act of charity, but a way to express belief in God's grace towards us. It's about incarnating the gospel in our lives, a principle she lived out throughout her entire existence. Mother Teresa's fame at the time of her canonization makes her holiness both more visible and more challenging to discern. However, knowing more about someone doesn't necessarily mean knowing them deeply. In understanding St. Teresa, we are called to deepen our comprehension of her holiness, which is both hidden and revealed in her public persona. Mother Teresa wasn't just a saint of darkness. She was also a saint of joy. She left behind the pursuit of mere happiness to discover true joy, a joy that endures suffering in hope. By staying close to those who suffer, she shared in Christ's own suffering, hearing his plaintive cry on the cross, "I thirst." In leaving her own comfort to comfort the unwanted and unloved, Mother Teresa exemplified the love that suffers with Christ for the sake of others. Her life was spent at the foot of the cross, listening for Christ's thirst and seeking to quench it. Christ's thirst, articulated in Psalm 69, is a thirst for compassion and comfort, which he shares with those who are denied these basic human needs. Mother Teresa's singular mission was to bring tender love and care to those whom the world leaves behind, embodying the beloved disciple who left happiness to find joy at the foot of Christ's cross. Despite enduring long years of spiritual darkness and feeling abandoned by God, Mother Teresa's suffering was not in vain. It deepened her identification with the poor and purified her love for God and for humanity. Through her inner torment, her love grew stronger and more resilient, becoming a beacon of hope and compassion for generations to come. Mother Teresa's mission was not without mystical experiences at its inception. She heard the voice of Jesus and felt his inner presence, experiencing incomparable sweetness. However, these experiences ceased for long years during her mission. In her letters, she expressed the excruciating pain of longing for God, feeling abandoned, repulsed, and empty, devoid of faith, love, and zeal. It's sobering to consider that amidst her tireless work, Mother Teresa endured spiritual suffering without consolation. Yet, this suffering bore fruit. It deepened her identification with Christ's experience of abandonment and helped her empathize more fully with the poor, the lonely, and the outcast. Through her inner torment, her love for God and for humanity was purified and strengthened. In asking her confessor to pray for her and requesting Our Lady's heart to fulfill God's desire within her, Mother Teresa revealed her profound longing for God amidst the darkness. Despite the absence of consolation, her commitment to her mission remained unwavering. She continued to serve with tenderness and compassion, embodying the love of Christ for those in need. Mother Teresa's journey serves as a testament to the transformative power of suffering and the resilience of faith. Her willingness to endure spiritual darkness for the sake of others exemplifies true selflessness and devotion. Through her unwavering dedication, she left behind a legacy of love, compassion, and faith that continues to inspire and uplift countless souls around the world. In conclusion, the life of Mother Teresa stands as a profound example of selfless love, unwavering faith, and profound compassion. Through her tireless dedication to serving the poorest of the poor, she embodied the teachings of Christ and lived out the gospel message in its truest form. Despite enduring long years of spiritual darkness and inner turmoil, Mother Teresa's commitment to her mission never wavered. Her willingness to share in the suffering of Christ and to embrace the pain of longing for God's presence exemplifies the depth of her faith and the strength of her devotion. As we reflect on Mother Teresa's life, let us be inspired by her example to love unconditionally, to serve tirelessly, and to remain steadfast in our faith, even in the face of adversity. May her legacy continue to shine as a beacon of hope and compassion in a world that is often dark and troubled. In the words of Mother Teresa herself, "I am a little pencil in the hand of a writing God who is sending a love letter to the world." May we all strive to be instruments of God's love, following in her footsteps and spreading light and kindness wherever we go. Let us carry forward the spirit of Mother Teresa's mission, reaching out to those in need with kindness and compassion. In our own lives, may we echo her dedication to serving the marginalized and the forgotten, recognizing the presence of Christ in each person we encounter. As we bid farewell, let us remember that Mother Teresa's legacy lives on not only in the institution she founded or the accolades she received, but in the countless lives she touched with her love and selflessness. May we honor her memory by continuing her work of bringing hope and healing to a world in need. Thank you for joining me in reflecting on the extraordinary life of Mother Teresa. May her example inspire us all to live with greater love, mercy, and compassion each day.